You good?
7:30, I'm calling the March 17th, 2021 Board of Trustees meeting to order. In accordance with the current executive orders of the governor and public health and safety concerns related to the COVID-19 health emergency, this meeting of the planning board, it's not a planning board, this meeting of the Board of Trustees is not being held in person. The board is meeting by teleconference. The village has advertised an opportunity for the public to hear the meeting on the Village of Northwood YouTube channel. The link to the YouTube channel can be found on the homepage of the village website, www.villagenorthhills.com. There are no public hearings being held at this meeting. The public does not have the right to comment on tonight's agenda items unless authorized by the rules of the board. But interested members of the public who wish to provide comments on an agenda item may do so through the written chat section on the village YouTube channel. Comments may also be provided via email prior to or during the meeting to village administrator at villagenorthhills.com. The village administrator will call the attendance roll for this meeting.
Mayor Natus,
Present.
Deputy Mayor Scambati,
Present.
Trustee Lentini, Trustee Arnold,
Present.
Trustee Cohen, Building Superintendent Chicamani,
Present.
Village Attorney Levin,
I'm sorry, I can't hear anything. Sporadic sound.
Village Attorney Levin.
Yes, here, thank you.
Okay. Mayor,
I'm going to ask everyone to please rise. And very low Carol, lead us to the pledge of allegiance.
Place your right hand over your heart. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, to the republic which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Happy St. Patty's Day to everybody. That's announcement number one. Announcement number two, the next meeting of the Board of Trustees is April 21st at 7:30 p.m. The place or access location is announced on the village website. Are there any additions or corrections to the Board of Trustees minutes from February 17th? I have none, Mayor. I'll entertain a motion then to approve the minutes as circulated.
Okay. Second that one.
Trustee Cohen made the motion, trustee Arnold seconds. All in favor? Aye. Unanimous. Item number 5, public hearings. This is a local law to amend the code of the Village of North Hills in relation to records, retention, and disposition. The public hearing is noticed was duly. Are there any members of the public that wishes to be heard? Actually, this is basically nothing that the public, I think, is interested in, and that's why we're having a public hearing on this. It's just a local law to amend our code. Any questions from the board in connection with the amendment? I have none.
No.
I'll entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
Don't
Make
move.
that motion.
Okay. I second that.
Trustee Lentini makes the motion, trustee Arnold seconds, all in favor?
Aye.
Any discussion now on this bill? I'll make a motion that we approve the bill NH 2021B, which is the local law to amend the code of the Village of North Hills in relation to records retention and disposition. Mayor made the motion, trustee Cohen seconds, all in favor? Aye. Unanimous, thank you. Next item, finance and operations. Any questions in connection with, first of all, let's have the treasurer's report.
Yes, checking account, $7,065,229.35. Repair reserve,
35 or 34?
34 cents.
Thank you.
Sorry, thank you, Mayor. Repair reserve, $767,24. Park and recreation, $1,015,524.37. Capital reserve, village hall, $257,742.19. And the payroll and trust and agency, they zero out. Special escrow, $94,800.68. Community amenities, $37,175,649.62.
Any questions?
No.
Obviously, the community amenities fund is growing because we have not had the benefit of the shuttle service. So, when we will continue that, I guess, is when they really reopen the city and people start to commute again. There are no other questions in connection with the treasurer's report. I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Trustee Mansky makes the motion.
second that motion.
Trustee Arnold, seconds, all in favor? Aye. Unanimous, again. Item 6B, the payment of claims. Are there any questions in connection with the warrant 03/21? Anyone? Then I'll entertain a motion.
Make a motion to accept the payment of claims under warrant number 02/21.
There's a second, trustee Cohen makes the motion, trustee Lentini seconds, all in favor? Aye. Now for board discussion. Case number 20-01 RV. This is an application of RSR North Hills. They request for the bond release and or reduction. You have a report from Superintendent of Buildings. Any discussion?
Peter, Mayor, Peter, give us a little bit of a history on A, B, C, and A, B, C, and A, B, B, and C.
On history?
Yes.
So, site improvement bond was originally $4 million. It had been reduced.
Peter, could you speak into the mic?
Sorry, Tom, can you hear me now? All right. So it was originally set at $4 million, and it had been reduced 3 times down to $25,000. At this time, the applicant is requesting the release of the bond. Based on my most recent inspection, the site improvements, all the deficiencies that I had previously found had been addressed. The recreation facility maintenance bond, that's been in effect for over 2 years, and it was for $100,000. The applicant requests release of bond. Everything was found to be sufficiently addressed, so I recommend the release of that bond. And the landscape and lighting performance bond, originally at $2.5 million, had been reduced to $750,000. The applicant is requesting the release of the bond. I'm also recommending that the board consider the release and recommend a maintenance bond for a period of 2 years in an amount of $250,000.
What was your recommendation on the site improvement?
The site improvement, the maintenance bond in the amount of $400,000 for a period of 2 years.
Mayor, based on our superintendent of building department, Peterson, I'd like to agree with him and go by his recommendation. Any other discussion? Any other questions? The mayor, may I ask that we take separate votes on the bond? Yes, we will. I'd like to make a motion for the site improvement performance bond as per superintendent of building department, Peterson. May I make a request that the village code provides a different procedure for this on the improvement bond, performance bond. The motion should be a motion to direct the applicant to submit a maintenance bond in the amount of $400,000 for a period of 2 years from filing, upon which conditions of the improvement bond will be released. Right. They have to file the maintenance bond before we release the performance bond. That's correct. We're not going to have the board approve the release first and then find out when they don't get around to filing the maintenance bond, we have no bond. Correct. That has happened. Right. So your motion then, Deputy Mayor Scammani, is upon the release of they will file a maintenance bond, and upon filing the maintenance bond, and Mr. Chupamani is recommending $400,000 for a period of 2 years. Is that outstanding, 2 years, Mr. Chupamani?
That's correct.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Deputy Mayor Scammani makes the motion, Trustee Cohen seconds. Any further discussion on the motion is not necessary. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, it's unanimous.
Mayor, I'd like to make a motion on the recreation facility maintenance bond as per our superintendent of building department, Peterson.
So you're recommending that the release the bond for the recreational facility complete?
Correct.
There's a motion.
That's correct. This is the maintenance bond.
Correct, that's the maintenance bond.
It's a straight release.
Correct. Straight release. There's a motion to release the recreational facility maintenance bond. Is there a second?
Second.
Trustee Lentini seconds. All in favor? Aye. Unanimous.
Mayor, I'd like to make a motion on the landscaping and lighting performance bond, as per our building, superintendent, Peterson. But again, I'd ask that this motion be the same as the motion on the site improvement bond.
Correct.
I'll make that motion.
Upon filing the maintenance bond, only then would the performance bond be released.
Right.
And your
I'll make the motion.
And the recommendation is the maintenance bond in the amount of $250,000 in effect for a period of 2 years.
Yes.
And that's your motion, Deputy?
Yes.
Is there a second?
Trustee Cohen.
Okay, Deputy Mayor made the motion, Trustee Cohen seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Unanimous. So, each of these instances where there was a performance bond, recreation facility bond is going to be released, but that was a maintenance bond, that's totally released. The other two bonds for performance bonds, when they file the maintenance bonds in proper form and properly executed, then we will release those performance bonds as well. Next item, 7B, village election. pay the polling place and hours for the village director.
I make that motion.
What hours? Polling place will be
June
village hall.
15th is the hours of election, the 12 noon, 5 o'clock.
Yes.
Yeah. Any discussion?
Before trustee, Cohen's motion is accepted. What could you tell me the hours again? It's not on here, but it's 12 to 9.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, it's been on. Okay, I'll second trustee Cohen's motion to find out
Trustee Arnold made the motion, trustee Conway seconded. Designated village hall, the designated polling place, and, the election will be held on June 15th, and it'll be 12 noon to 9 p.m. All in favor? Aye. Unanimous. Next item on the agenda, on the Hampshire Bay Group, Parks and Recreation Fund. There's a memo from Mr. Chief Amani. Have you all had any discussion on the memorandum?
Mayor, the memo that Mr. Singamani sent all of us, gave to all of us, is that the payment will be in an amount to be determined by the Board of Trustees. Are we going to determine that amount tonight?
Yeah. And what else? The memo also states that the original purchase price of the property, you know, that the original purchase price, and rather than have a current appraisal, we can establish that 3% based on the original purchase price rather than the current appraisal value. You know, if it, you know, we have 35, 36 million. I don't know what, that was the original purchase price. I don't know what the Chick-fil-A.
Yeah, so in 2013, the property sold for 36.5 million. Yes. Since then, it had been on the market for 110 million, then it was reduced to 80 million. It was sold to Toll Brothers, but it wasn't sold outright. So we don't know what the exact value of the property is. So that's why I'm leaving it up to the board. We can either go with the 36.5 million that it was sold at in 2013, or have an appraisal of what the land value is today, which would probably be significantly higher. But that's for the board to decide.
Well, it's hard to determine because, as Mr. Chick-fil-A said, is, there are many ways to sell property. There may be an earn-out here, there may be a base price plus an earn-out. And the simplest thing for us probably would be to base it on the 213 valuation. And we don't have to go through additional appraisals and still it's a substantial sum for the cost fund.
So it's not, so that again.
It would be, the
number you said was 213?
the year was 2013. The amount that it would be if we went off 3% of the 36.5 million would be 1,095,000.
You need a motion for that?
Yes.
I'll make a motion for the housing thing, group, make a payment to the park fund of $1,095,000 or 3% of the purchase price of $36,500,000. May I ask that rephrase, because that's not proper basis, and the payment will be made by Toll Brothers Northeast Beach Corp. So I think if we can have a motion to, if the applicant is required to pay $1,095,000 to the Park and Recreation Fund in lieu of setting aside park limits and public use. I'll make that motion. I second.
Deputy Mayor Giovanni made the motion, trustee Arnold second. Any discussion on the motion? All in favor?
Aye.
All right, unanimous. Next item on the agenda, any other business? Any new business?
Mayor, I have a piece of new business that I'd like to bring to you and the Board of Trustees. Ellie Zakin, who is currently an alternate for the planning board, would like to ask the mayor and the trustees if he can leave the planning board and be assigned to the architectural review board.
Yeah, well, I guess he has a greater interest in the architectural review than the planning board. I guess it's in construction.
Correct, it is.
I don't have a problem. Anybody else have a problem?
Well, actually, I should have prefaced this before we signed that, we've been trying to do it for the last 2 months, and Harvey Anixstein, who is on the architectural review board and very versed in construction, has since left the village for a residency in Florida, so he cannot be part of the architectural review board. So I believe the architectural review board would like for him to be on the board with his knowledge of construction.
I know, Alan, he's very knowledgeable. Well, I'll make that. You want to make the motion?
I'll make before you do that, I think that the legal things that have to be taken care of. Nobody discussed this with you, so you may not be aware of them. Number one, Mr. Anixton, if correct me if I'm wrong, I believe he submitted his resignation from the architectural review board.
Yes,
Is that right? And that seat was not filled?
yeah, that's correct. There was an alternate, was there an alternate that filled the seat?
Yes, it would be
You do not make an appointment to fill that seat. If there's an alternate, the alternate can sit when he's absent, and that whoever holds that seat is absent. But the alternate does not automatically fill the seat unless you appoint the alternate to fill the seat.
Did we appoint?
I believe that you did, but I will check, I believe that
We'll
was
check the
done.
minutes. I believe we appointed an alternate to fill that seat months ago.
Again, if you appointed someone to fill the seat, they're not an alternate, they're a member of the board.
That is correct,
Okay, so if you did that, there are no vacancies on that board.
except as an alternate.
Well, so you can always appoint an alternate. That's point number one. Point number two, Mr. Bacon can be appointed to that board without leaving the planning board, should he choose to do so. And number three, if he chooses to leave the planning board, he has to submit a written resignation.
That's not a problem. That's not a problem. So upon him submitting a written resignation from the planning board and pursuant to his request to become an alternate on the architectural review board, I would make that motion.
No, you can't, there's no such motion. I'm trying to make the point, there's two separate issues here. There's the appointment of an alternate to the architectural review board. Mayor's appointment subject to approval of the board. And if Mr. Anixton resigns from the planning board, then there's an appointment to the planning board, which is also a mayor's appointment subject to approval of the board. But it cannot be made.
Then listen to me again. When Harvey Anixstein resigned from the planning board 3 or 4 months ago in December, My recollection is that we did appoint a replacement to the planning board.
Yes, it was Kevin.
Which means that there was a vacancy only as an alternate on the planning board.
On the ARB.
On the ARB, on the Architectural Review Board, correct.
That's,
So if that's the case, and the only vacancy is as an alternate, and Mr. Bacon would like to be an alternate on the Architectural Review Board, what I'm saying is, upon his submission of a resignation as an alternate from the planning board, my recommendation is that he be appointed by the mayor to the Architectural Review Board, subject to this board's approval.
okay, then maybe I didn't make myself clear, because what you're proposing is illegal. And I'm trying to give you the legal way to do it. You can appoint, there are two separate issues here. There's appointment of an alternate to the ARB, and, which can be done anytime you want. And it can be Mr. Bacon if you want to do that. And there's a seat on the planning board as an alternate which he perfectly holds, and if he resigns that seat, you can appoint someone to replace him in that seat. But these are two separate seats, they're not incompatible, and somebody can hold both of them. So you can't condition the appointment for one on his resignation from the other. If he chooses to resign, that's fine.
He chose to resign, that's the memo that I had from from the deputy mayor, that he chose to.
And again,
So you want to see a resignation in writing, is that correct?
Right, as I said many times, the only way somebody can resign is
Okay, so,
I'll speak to,
you speak to
this
Mr. Zagan.
agent, and I'll ask him to send,
Deliver or send.
bring in a letter of resignation
From
to the planning board and ask if he can, be part of the architectural review board.
Now, please, they're two separate things. Stop labeling them together.
Okay, so what would you like, Tom? Tell me.
You wanted to resign from the planning board, correct? Before we appoint him to the architectural review board.
Let me try again, all right? You can appoint to the architectural review board if you choose, whether he resigns from the other board or not, because they're two separate seats and someone can hold both of them. So you can do that tonight if you wish to appoint him and board approves. The planning board seat, you can't do anything about it until you have a resignation.
Okay. I make a motion that we appoint Ellie Zagan as an alternate to the architectural review board.
I don't,
Move that
no, I'd rather not, I don't want to do with that. I think that we don't have any board members, on two boards.
Dennis, he won't be on two boards. We're going to appoint him to the architectural review board tonight, so he's happy. And you'll tell him to send in a letter of resignation from the planning board. Okay?
So I think the mayor's point is that if he does not send in the resignation, he will then be on two boards.
And he doesn't want to be on two boards.
He doesn't want to be on.
So he'll send in a resignation. Just tell him we appoint him to the architectural review board and ask him to send in the resignation to the planning board. Otherwise, we're going to lose another one.
But he's still on two boards, sir.
For a week, for 2 days, for 3 days. Mary Ann,
Yes, okay.
would you please contact Mr. Zagan, tell him that I've appointed him?
No, I will. I'll speak to him.
Okay,
He's my neighbor.
okay, and you tell him he's been appointed to the architectural review
I
board.
will.
And we would like him to send in a letter resigning from the planning. Okay?
No, please don't do that. That's illegal. You do not do that. If he wants to resign, that's his choice, but don't tell him.
Well, he told us he wants to resign.
I
But
understand.
we want it in writing, so I'm getting it in writing.
Mayor, when the board links these two things, they're going into territory that should
Okay,
not
don't
go
wait
into.
the 2 days, just.
Mayor, if you will allow me to speak to Ellie Zagan, I'll tell him to send the resignation to the planning board, and at that time, he could be, appointed, by you, to the architectural review board. Is that fine, Tom?
No, it is not.
No, wait, I can appoint him only to the board.
What you do is a criminal act. I'm recommending you not do it.
Well,
Okay, listen.
nobody, I don't wanna have.
We don't want to be, we have no criminals, we don't want to be criminals. We try to accommodate, a guy's request, and this is becoming a criminal act. So here's what we're gonna do.
Mayor, with all due respect, all right, and I insist on I'm telling you this, because I'm the attorney for the village, and I have an obligation to tell you this. There is a way to do this. You're insisting on doing it is not the way to do it.
Okay, what's the way to do it?
If you want to appoint Mr. Zagan to the Architecture Review Board as an alternate, go ahead and do it. If he resigns of his own volition from the planning board and submits a resignation, you can fill that seat. These two seats are not linked. You cannot link one of them to the other.
He resigned, the next meeting, we can put somebody on. the
Yeah, well, I'd rather wait another month.
Okay, then we'll wait another month.
Have the board prepared, we have an
Oh, well,
I just wanted to point out, we did, Mayor, you did appoint Terry Orlando, who was an alternate to become a full member of the
I
planning
know
board.
that, I know you do that once. I know that. Now we're talking about,
okay, fine. So we'll wait till Ellie Zagan sends a letter of resignation.
before we make it, okay? So then they're not.
Is that fine? Is that okay, Todd?
Doing nothing is always fine.
Say it again?
Doing nothing is
nothing.
fine.
Doing nothing is always fine.
Okay, good. Thank you.
I don't think we need an executive session tonight. We need any legal advice on anything? I know I don't. Anybody? Okay, then I'll let
Mayor, could you tell the board, when will there be a public hearing for, Buckley School, Day School next month?
Right now, if things go along the way they are, if we open up the public hearing, then we should be able to take the April 21st.
April 20th. Okay, great.
We should be able. But we'll see if there's any spikes or any other issues.
I think it was a big spike today.
Well, we have to see what the science
See what happens, yeah.
after they know. Anything else? I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
What is it?